You know that feeling, right? Cheering on your local hockey team. The energy, the community spirit, the sheer dedication you see, it's just electric. But have you ever thought, could that local club actually be a registered charity here in Canada? And like, why would they even want to be? What does it really involve? So today we're diving into that, peeling back the layers on this surprising question. Our mission for this deep dive, to really unpack the specific criteria, the process, which can be detailed, and the big benefits that come with charity registration. We want to help you understand that path, how it can unlock more funding, and really boost community impact.
It really is a fascinating spot, isn't it? Where the passion of sport bumps up against, well, the very structured world of Canadian charity law. And what's really key here, I think, is just how specific the Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, gets when it looks at sports organizations. Getting your head around these nuances, it's not just bureaucratic box ticking. It's about unlocking some serious potential. A lot of organizations are really driven by that vision, what charity status could mean for their growth, their development, and just getting that next level of recognition in the community. It's often way beyond just the ice.
Okay, let's get into this then, because it's definitely not as simple as just saying, hey, we do good things for kids. Before a club can even, start dreaming about those benefits, it has to meet some very specific criteria set out by the CRA. We're basically talking about three core pillars, aren't we? Charitable purpose, public benefit, and having a nonprofit structure. And these aren't just like nice to haves.
Right.
They're requirements.
Oh, absolutely. Hard requirements, prerequisites, really. And this immediately brings up a big question, one that a lot of clubs wrestle with. What exactly is a charitable purpose for a hockey club? It's not just running a team or teaching skating. It's got to be more. Your club has to be set up exclusively to promote recognized charitable goals. So things like supporting amateur sports generally, encouraging physical activity, promoting healthy lifestyles, fostering community involvement, maybe youth development through sport. But here's the critical bit, and this often trips people up. A hockey club that's formed only to train kids or adults in hockey, that alone won't cut it. It wouldn't be deemed charitable by the CRA.
Right. So it's not just about the skills, the skating, the shooting. It's got to be about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How the club uses hockey for something broader, for societal good. That distinction feels really crucial because I can totally see local clubs thinking, we teach kids hockey, that's obviously good.
You've nailed it. That's a really critical point. Many clubs start there with that really admirable goal. And it is a good thing to do. But the CRA, they're looking for something more structured, an explicit commitment to wider societal well-being that's baked into your purpose. I think the real mental shift for a club's board is seeing training as the method, the vehicle, not the ultimate charitable purpose itself. For example, if a club explicitly states its purpose is, say, to combat childhood obesity using accessible hockey programs, or maybe to build leadership skills for underprivileged youth through being part of a team. Now you're framing the mission in language the CRA recognizes as charitable. It's about showing that value beyond the game itself.
I see. Okay, so the purpose has to be really carefully worded, articulated to fit that CRA framework. And that connects directly to the second pillar then, public benefit. How does a hockey club actually show that what it does benefits the public, not just its own members or players?
Yeah, exactly. And this means your programs need to be genuinely accessible, open to a broad audience, not just, a small group who can maybe afford high fees or who are already part of some exclusive setup. Think about it. If a club has really prohibitive fees or only takes elite players through closed tryouts, it's much harder to argue there's a wide public benefit happening. A club that's serious about public benefit might say, host open try hockey clinics for anyone in the community. Or maybe offer free introductory sessions for new Canadians, or provide scholarships specifically aimed at underprivileged youth to remove those financial hurdles. It really boils down to showing that the community as a whole, not just a select slice, is gaining something valuable from your club's activities.
That makes total sense, ensuring the benefits spread wide, maybe even target groups that need it most. Okay, so purpose, public benefit. What about the money side, the club's financial setup? How does that fit in?
Right, the third pillar, nonprofit structure. This one's pretty straightforward, but it's absolutely core. Your organization must operate on a nonprofit basis. Simple as that, which means any surplus, any profit you generate has to be plowed right back into the club. Reinvested to further those charitable goals, support your programs, improve facilities, whatever. It definitely cannot be distributed to members or shareholders or any private individuals. The CRA needs to see a really clear line. All the money serves the mission. Now, many community clubs already operate like this, more or less, But for charity status, it needs to be formally defined in your governing documents, and you have to stick to it rigorously.
Okay. So let's say your club ticks those boxes. You've got the charitable purpose clear. You can show public benefit. You're operating nonprofit. What's the actual journey look like? Getting registered, it sounds like there's a pretty involved process. And you need some patience. Not exactly an overnight thing.
No, definitely not overnight. You're right. It's a structured journey. Needs careful prep. So the first main stage in the registration process is basically gathering all your key documents. Think of these as the club's official rulebook. Your constitution that defines your core purpose, your mission, the big picture framework. Then your bylaws, they detail how you run things day to day. Voting, board duties, meetings, all that operational stuff. And you need a really clear, concise mission statement that spells out those charitable objectives we talked about. These documents, they have to show exactly how your club plans to achieve those stated charitable goals, how it aligns with those three pillars.
Right. Makes sense. You can't just say, we want to be a charity. You have to show the CRA right there on paper how you're set up, how you'll operate. It's all about being transparent and accountable from the very start.
Precisely. Transparency is huge.
Yeah.
So once you've got all that documentation sorted, organized, maybe even refined it a bit, the next stage is actually filling out the official application. You'll need to complete the application for registration form. It's on the CRA website. And this form, it digs deep. It asks for detailed info on, well, pretty much everything about your club, your activities, your governance structure, like who's on the board, what are their roles, how are decisions made, and critically, a full picture of your financial situation. It's a real look under the hood. So accuracy, consistency with your purpose, that's absolutely paramount.
Well, yeah, I can imagine that's quite the task, pulling together all that financial stuff, operational details. And then, after all that effort, comes the waiting game, right? The infamous part. What should clubs expect then? During that waiting period, are there things they should be doing or just wait?
Yeah, the waiting. That's stage 3, awaiting approval. After you submit, the CRA team goes through everything meticulously, reviews all the information, and this is where patience really is key. It can often take several months, sometimes honestly even longer, depending on their workload and how complex your application is. But here's a really interesting point, something our sources highlighted that clubs often miss. This waiting period doesn't have to be passive. Just sitting there twiddling your thumbs. While you wait, you should actually be thinking strategically, actively looking for ways to strengthen the organization itself.
Ah, okay. So this is what I think is really interesting. It's not just waiting by the phone. There are actual, strategic moves you can make. Things to strengthen the club before you even get the official nod. Sort of like preseason training for being a charity. Getting everything tuned up. What kind of proactive stuff are we talking about?
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Building your capacity. For instance, you could use that time to really double down on community engagement. In concrete ways you can point to, maybe run some free try-hockey days for newcomers to Canada, or partner with local schools, offer some phys ed clinics that tie directly into your stated charitable purpose, like promoting physical literacy. Maybe even host some open forums about healthy living through sport. And at the same time, you should be looking inward. Strengthening your board, developing clear governance policies if you haven't already, maybe even recruiting new board members who bring specific skills like legal know-how or financial expertise, people who can really help guide the club once it is a charity.
So it's not just about looking good for the CRA application review, but actually becoming a better, more community-focused organization right then and there.
Precisely. You could also use the time to brainstorm fundraising ideas, things you'll roll out once you get the status. Think about how offering those tax receipts is going to change your approach. Developing marketing materials is another smart move stuff that clearly communicates your new charitable identity and vision. The source material even suggests reaching out, connecting with other registered charities nearby. Learn from their experiences. Maybe organize some training for your volunteers or staff on, best practices for running a charity, reporting, compliance, that sort of thing. Doing all this stuff, it doesn't just make the wait feel more productive. It also shows the CRA, if they happen to have follow-up questions, that your club is serious, committed, and already acting like the charity it wants to become.
Okay, so let's fast forward. The club gets the green light. They achieve that coveted registered charity status. But the journey's not over then, is it? It's not like, okay, done, let's just run the hockey programs. What does maintaining compliance actually mean for a hockey club that's now a registered charity? What are those ongoing duties you need to keep on top of?
That's such a vital point because Yeah, getting the status is one thing, keeping it is another. Losing your charity status because you didn't stay compliant, that's a very real risk, and you want to avoid it. So it's crucial to stick to the ongoing CRA requirements. The main one is filing your annual information return, the T3010. This return gives the CRA an updated snapshot of your club's finances, its programs, its activities for the past year. But beyond just the paperwork, it's about consistently making sure your activities still line up with the charitable objectives you stated in your application. You can't just drift away from the purpose you were registered for. Any big changes could potentially put your status at risk.
Right. So it's not just a once-a-year check-in with the form. It's this continuous commitment to the mission you originally set out, constantly demonstrating that you're still doing what you promised the CRA you would do.
Absolutely. And that comes with some significant administrative responsibilities. Things that are definitely a step up from just running a regular sports club. You need to be ready for tasks like keeping incredibly detailed financial records. Every dollar in, every dollar out needs to be tracked meticulously. You'll probably also need to conduct regular audits, either internal or sometimes external, just to ensure financial transparency and that you're following all the rules. And importantly, you'll be reporting thoroughly on all your activities, not just the money side, but your program results, your community impact, how you're actually achieving those charitable goals you set out. This level of transparency and accountability, it's fundamental. It's what maintains public trust and keeps the CRA satisfied.
Yeah, that sounds like a really significant commitment, a whole other layer of work compared to just focusing on the hockey side. But it's essential, right, for the integrity of the charity status itself.
Yeah,
Without that diligence, the whole system kind of loses its meaning.
precisely. The integrity of the whole charitable sector really depends on every single registered organization keeping up these standards. It builds and reinforces trust. Trust from donors, trust from the public, and, yes, trust from the CRA. You can think of it as a commitment to being a steward of the funds people donate, a steward of your mission, and a steward of the public's confidence in you.
Okay, so after all that effort, that commitment, navigating the strict criteria, going through that demanding application, and then keeping up with compliance year after year, what are the actual payoffs? What are the tangible benefits a registered hockey club can really expect? What's the real advantage for the club, for you, for your community in taking on this whole challenge?
Well, the benefits, when you get there, are really substantial. They can honestly be transformative for a club's future. First off, there are major tax benefits. Your organization itself might become exempt from paying income tax. That means more of your revenue from fees, fundraising, whatever, can go directly into your programs, your equipment, your facilities, your community work, instead of going to the government in taxes. And just as important, maybe even more so for fundraising, is that donations made to your club could qualify for tax deductions for the donors themselves. That's a huge incentive. It makes it much, much easier to attract significant gifts from individuals, families, even corporations who want that tax receipt.
Yeah, that alone sounds like a complete game changer for fundraising efforts. People are definitely more inclined to give and maybe give more generously if they know they're getting an official tax receipt back. It makes their donation feel even more impactful for them, too.
It absolutely is a game changer, and that flows right into the second big benefit. Much better access to funding overall. Registered charities can apply for all sorts of grants and funding opportunities that just aren't open to regular sports clubs. We're talking government grants at various levels, funding from private foundations, specific corporate social responsibility programs. These sources can seriously boost your club's resources, allow for better equipment, maybe much-needed facility upgrades, more advanced coaching, more outreach programs in the community. It gives you a real competitive edge in securing that vital financial support you need for growth and just long-term stability.
Wow. So it literally opens doors that were shut before.
Yeah.
Gives you a path to growth, to stability that just wouldn't exist otherwise. And that means, more kids getting to play, better rinks, stronger programs, just a bigger impact all around.
Precisely. Bigger impact is the goal. And that ties into the third key benefit, which is enhanced credibility, significantly enhanced credibility. Having charity status, it's not just a label you stick on your website. It's an official stamp of approval from the CRA. It signals that your club operates with a legitimate public purpose and that it meets high standards for how it's run, how it handles its money. This dramatically lifts your club's standing in the community. It builds trust. It makes your club more attractive to potential new members, to volunteers who want to give their time to something meaningful, even to potential board members with valuable skills who want to be part of an organization making a real difference. It just elevates your public image, shows you operate with integrity, with a clear purpose beyond just winning games, and it cements your role as a really valuable community asset.
So when you put it all together, what does this mean for you, for your club, for your community? It's clearly not just about the money advantages, though those are huge. It's really about legitimizing your club's role, amplifying its positive impact way beyond the scoreboard. It truly cements its place as like an integral pillar of the community fabric.
Absolutely. It can transform a sports club from being mainly about the sport itself into being recognized as a cornerstone of the community with a mission that genuinely extends beyond the rink, you know, reaching more people, improving lives in different ways.
So today, we've really unpacked this fascinating world, haven't we? Hockey clubs looking for charity status in Canada. We went from understanding those pretty strict CRA criteria, remember the charitable purpose, public benefit, nonprofit structure, right through navigating that detailed application process, and then exploring the really significant benefits that can come at the end of that road. It's definitely a path that needs clarity, dedication, a real commitment to the community. But wow, the potential payoff seems incredible.
Yeah, and if you sort of zoom out, connect it to the bigger picture, it really underscores just how vital that clear, public-focused mission is. For any organization thinking about charity status, but especially, I think, in the world of sports, it's all about showing value that goes beyond just the fun of the game. It's about proving you can genuinely impact lives through community building, promoting health, developing young people through sport. It shows that the game itself can be this incredibly powerful vehicle for achieving broader societal good.
So, as you're thinking about the sports clubs in your own town, your own community, or maybe any local group that's trying hard to make a difference, maybe ask yourself, what kind of impact are they truly having right now? And how might a deeper understanding of this idea, this charitable purpose, maybe transform their future? What opportunities might be waiting for them just beyond the rink, ready to be unlocked if they frame their mission differently, committed more deeply to public benefit, and really elevated their game beyond just the final score?